Hello, Stuff of Nonsense students. We're already on lesson 15. So I know it's not the end of the week, but we'll have a quick special treat because, well, we like special treats, don't we? So remember the book I was reading to you last week, Struwwelpeter? I want you to notice the resemblance between Struwwelpeter and myself, in particular the hair. Anyway, he's the title character, and in English, the translation is Shock-Headed Peter. It's a short poem, but it's fun. And my parents used to say often to us, if we came to the dinner table and, I don't know, our fingernails were dirty, they'd say, oh, you look like Struwwelpeter. Go upstairs and clean your fingernails. Okay, so here's the poem. Just look at him. Have another look at him. There he stands with his nasty hair and hands. See, his nails are never cut. They are grimed as black as soot. And the sloven, I declare, never once has combed his hair. Anything to me is sweeter than to see shock-headed Peter. There you go. It was a short poem, but kind of fun. Comb your hair and scrub your nails. Okay, so today this comes actually from one of the study questions that we finished with. I think it wasn't answered in one class. If you missed your study question, you miss it. Okay, so that's why I'll be talking about stuff that we've handled already in the study questions. I want to talk about the poem, How Doth the Little Crocodile, and because it ties into so many themes in the book. Now, this is a parody, okay? So I'm still waiting for a little more discussion on parody. I won't talk too much about it, but Lewis Carroll takes a poem that Victorian children would have known, which was How Doth the Little Busy Bee. Okay, and in fact, if you've heard the expression, busy bee, this is where it came from. So it's by a poet named Isaac Watts, and the poem was called Against Idleness and Mischief. And idleness, of course, is being lazy, and mischief, well, we know what that is. So it's kind of interesting that that Watts was opposed to idleness and mischief. Do you think Lewis Carroll was? I'm not telling you the answer. So here's the original poem. How doth the little busy bee improve each shining hour and gather honey all the day from every opening flower? How skillfully she builds her cell, how neat she spreads the wax, and labors hard to store it well with the sweet food she makes. In works of labor or of skill, I would be busy too, for Satan finds some mischief still for idle hands to do. In books or work or healthful play, let my first years be past, that I may give for every day some good account at last. So I'll teach you one word because maybe you don't know it, maybe some of you will know it. The word is sanctimonious. And sanctimonious is sort of someone who's like, oh, I'm so wonderful. Oh, I'm such a busy bee. Look at my to-do list. I did everything. Aren't I terrific? Do we like people who are sanctimonious? No, don't like them. They're no fun, right? And here's something that Lewis Carroll's really interested in, being busy, to-do list. I mean, we're getting you to do that at Marinopolis even during the pandemic. But what about fun? Is fun important? Is it important to play? Is mischief important? Do we need to be lazy sometimes? These are very deep questions. So I'll read to you the next poem, the one that Lewis Carroll is sort of his answer to the busy bee. And also you should note that Lewis Carroll himself was tremendously busy and productive because he was a professor, he was a children's writer, he had tons of fans. People wrote to him, kids wrote to him, he answered every letter, he had lots of friends. So he was on the go all the time. He wrote books about logic, not just books for kids. Okay, so here's what he did. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spreads his claws and welcomes little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. Now, you know what I was thinking? I'm going to interpret that poem for you guys tomorrow, but I want you to think about one thing and maybe go over it, open your books, find the poem, read it over. Lewis Carroll has this habit, and I don't think he even did it on purpose, but there's images that he introduces that come back over and over in the book, almost like what happens in a dream, that you might have the same kind of images that come to you. I don't know, like maybe you dream of airplanes or of I don't know how to dream about peaches. So if there's lots of dreams about peaches, maybe it would be telling something is going on there, right? What's that about? So some of the things that are repeated in this poem: golden. We have the word on every golden scale. Do you remember reading about gold already in the book? The golden afternoon from the opening poem, okay? What about how cheerfully he seems to grin? Is there a grin coming up in this book? A very famous grin? So maybe this is the first reference to the grin. And what about at the last line with gently smiling jaws? So we get the smile, the grin again. What was gentle? Who was gentle? We're at 5 minutes, 43 seconds. I can't answer the question. Okay, be good, be smart, work. But remember, you got to have fun too, right? You don't want to just be the busy bee. You also don't want to only be the lazy crocodile. Okay, more on the crocodile tomorrow. Miss you guys. Take good care.